It is a Razor 94.7, 104.7 underneath the rave in the famous haunted pool room. And I'm with somewhat of a ghoul myself, I would say. It's Chris Motionless and Motionless in White. How's it going, man?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Add into the spooky atmosphere. It's not a bad backdrop for a conversation, isn't it?
I've actually never envisioned doing an interview at the pool at the rave. It's wild how it went from being this mysterious thing that I never saw for years and years. And then finally last year we played here and I saw it and I was like, this is what it is. And now we're doing an interview. The mystery is gone, but it's still cool.
The mystery is gone. They started offering like holiday tours of the rave, and the pool was a stop. And it's you kind of pay to see the mysterious pool at this point. So, but I saw a TikTok. You were down here last year singing the Halo, dude. Did that sound as majestic as it did across in video? Because I've never sang in here personally. What did that sound like?
You got the microphone. I think maybe just take the phone off the tripod and go down there and try it out.
Ooh, man. I don't think they're letting any of us in, unfortunately.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. There are signs up, and we have to follow the signs here. Well, you guys are touring the end of the world right now, and what people don't know is it's actually a countdown. When the tour's over, the world just ends.
You got to see the show before this your last shot.
100%. We're all dead. We're all gonna fucking die. That's a Meltdown reference. So the show looks like it's absolutely insane. Talk about Apocalypse Fest, the Scranton Apocalypse Fest. You guys joined forces with Parkway Drive, Amity Affliction for a killer set. What was that like?
I'm still trying to process it to this day. It's only been 4 or 5 days, but we really wanted to try to take on our own. We've been wanting for a while to put our own event together. We didn't know what that was until, it kind of just, the opportunity just sort of popped up, and it was let's take a shot at it. Let's talk to the Parkway Tour, see if they want to join forces and just pull it off. And whatever it is, and we'll just have a great time. And it became so much more than we could have ever dreamed it to be. The show was insane. I don't really have a way to describe it beyond kind of basic stuff like that, because it was so mind-blowing that it's taking time to I was present for it, but at the same time I felt like I was in this weird warped dream twilight zone, and I'm still trying to come to reality about it. But yeah, it was really awesome to pull our own event, and now that it did so well, I feel like we could do it again and again, and it doesn't have to be Scranton every time. Maybe it'll be the Milwaukee Apocalypse Fest. I don't know. So
looked like a hell of a kickoff to the show, dude. And this show, would you say this is the biggest tour that you guys have ever taken out on the road before?
Oh yeah. We've done some cool headliners in the past. Trinity was a triple headliner, so that tour was really special just because it was such a cool thing for the fans, and it felt like those festival type of tours that go on. So that was a really great thing for last year. But this year we're we need to do a Motionless headliner. It has to happen. And we were if we're gonna do it, we're gonna go as hard as we possibly can. So we dumped every bit of money we possibly could into the production, the support bands. It's such a cool package, and 2 different set lists that alternate, full of crazy all the eras of the band. So it's full blown everything we got to throw at you right now.
That's awesome. And it's the last on the circuit of Scoring the End of the World, correct? This is it for this album, basically, right?
Yeah, I think Trinity definitely evolved into something that sort of took over all of last year, and we would have done a headliner, but it just felt like this tour had so much momentum, and it was such a positive thing that fans were really enjoying. So we decided, let's just keep that going. All the bands wanted to keep it going. So not getting to do a full-on headliner until now, the very end of the cycle, it's kind of just a one and done thing. Let's go hard and celebrate the album and then go write a new one.
Heck yeah, it is a fantastic album, a fantastic show. We are gearing up tonight. Thank you for making Wisconsin a 3 stops within the last calendar year. We had you guys up in Oshkosh for the Trinity Hits Air Tour. Unfortunately, Black Veil could not make that one due to COVID. Yeah. And you guys just released another new single for radio, Sign of Life. We're playing the hell out of that on Razor. And I'll tell you, Masterpiece was our most played song last year. Over 1,000 plays in less than a year. And it's largely because of your insane fan base. I've never seen, it was the most requested song that we got. We got people from outside of the country direct messaging our radio station requesting it. And I know that you're a big social media guy. You have such a presence on social media. Why do you think it's important to maintain a somewhat personal connection with fans on social media nowadays?
I don't know. I think like people just want to know who they're supporting. Like they want to know who the person is behind the music or behind the words and whatever it is. And sometimes, it's like I don't feel like I need to just divulge every personal like thought or opinion. And like I just just like to just be myself. And a place like TikTok has been a fun place for me to just be like stupid and funny, and like that's just a side of my humor that I love. So it's just the way that I've run it for the last bunch of years is just like I just like to just be myself whenever I feel like I want to, or I use it to like get it valid information out there for fans, like, or cool things to celebrate that they've helped us accomplish. So it's just a nice way to stay connected and give them like a piece of like what, or knowledge of like what they're getting behind, and I like that. So
we had the chance to speak to you last year. Our afternoon guy Decker had two great conversations with you, and you shared how kind of during COVID you were getting your personal feelings out and letting people know how you're struggling as well, and kind of how certain things weren't exactly going your way. And we're big mental health champions at Razor, and it's so cool to see someone so transparent with their audience. Why do you think it's so important to maintain that level of transparency, and do you think people respect you as an artist more because of that?
I mean, it's tough to say whether people would respect that more or less. I don't know if I really even focused on that. I think I just recognize that there are so many people that feel a way that mental health is such a hot topic for the last bunch of years, so it's not this new taboo thing anymore. Like it's out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're at a place now where like that's not this like shock to the system when someone says that they're having mental health problems in any department. And I think that that's because of moments like people sharing their feelings. I mean, it doesn't have to be people with any sort of status. It's just the conversation of I'm struggling and this is why and I need help just opens up the door for more and more and more people to be able to let that out, seek help, or feel comfortable to exist in that space and not feel like they're burdening their friends, their family, or they now have more education about where to find help for these things. So as the more that it's out there, the more it's just going to help the whole cause. Mm-hmm. And just to be any small micro part of that myself is awesome to be a part of. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's less about like mental health awareness nowadays, because everyone's aware of it. Sure. It's been around for a long time. It's like, what can we actually do about it? So moments like that are great. They're little steps forward, which is really, really important. Getting back to the music side of things really quick, talking about Sign of Life, it's interesting how you listen to the radio singles that have been released so far. So you got Masterpiece, Werewolf, and Sign of Life. And you're like, okay, this is awesome, Motionless and what? It's not like super, super heavy though. Then you listen to the rest of the album and you get blown out of your ass with Slaughterhouse and Meltdown, and you're like, oh my God. Yeah. One of my favorite YouTubers that I saw, his name's Wyatt Stav, reacted to Slaughterhouse. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah, I know Wyatt. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Great.
And he said that your voice was entering like the Schmeagol realm on Slaughterhouse. From a technical standpoint, and I'm sorry that if you've answered this question 1,000 times, but it's just for my own personal curiosity, what are the techniques that go between that? Because you have the cleanest singing voice I've ever heard, on top of some of the most demonic screams I've ever heard. It's just amazing. So like, what goes into like prep or different techniques that you use?
I mean, it's definitely different for studio versus live. That's so funny. The Schmeagol route. That's very funny. I think it's just developed over like so many years of trying new things and then learning what does and doesn't work, or how to do it better. Like, I don't really know how to articulate like how to properly do it or anything. Like I've worked with a couple different vocal coaches, more recently David from Extreme Vocal Institute, who is a wealth of knowledge on stuff that's like way more heavy and crazy, and that's really helped me a lot. breathing techniques. Like there's a lot of things that kind of all factor in at once, and I don't know how to properly tell somebody. Like I'm always stressed out when someone's like, so like, how'd you learn how to sing? I'm like, I didn't. I just started doing it and found my way.
And then they always come back to you like, oh, so it is natural talent. You can't just get that way, right?
I mean, there's been people that have helped along the way for sure, but I would say primarily trial and error and just doing. I mean, we've been doing this now I've been screaming for more than 20 years. The band's almost 20 years old, so I just found my system that works. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you can hear the evolution of it. I was listening to your discography on the way here because that's what I do before shows. And you can hear the improvement on your voice and just the instrumentals as well. The growth is awesome.
I mean, a lot of that is, of course, like age, experience, knowledge. Like it's a bunch of things all factored into one. But I think, a bunch of years back, we did an album called Graveyard Shift. And I mentioned on that record that the reason why I feel the difference between any other record up to Graveyard Shift is because I never took myself seriously as a vocalist. I was always like, I'm going to work on the music and do that first, and then I'll just sing later. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I was just like, I think I need to take this a little bit seriously. Like, if we want our band to grow and I want to like continue to grow as a musician and an artist, like I have to take the thing I'm doing as the primary thing as seriously as I can. So I started to really try my best to be a vocalist for Motionless instead of working on the music for Motionless, and that was a turning point.
Has your songwriting changed because of that?
Yeah, I think I now work on things like I used to sit there and obsess over every, keyboard part. If I wanted the sound to be, or like this riff isn't what I want it to be yet, or the breakdown doesn't have the exact hits I want. Whereas now I will say, okay, I'm gonna write like a basic chord progression, or if one of the other guys has a chord progression or a riff, I'm not going to take that any further until I know what I could do vocally over it. Then we'll build the song around the vocal. And I think that's helped a lot. That was a big thing on the last record that we did.
Yeah, that's awesome. And circling back a little bit to talking about radio singles and single releases just in general, I'm always curious from artist to artist how they pick out the singles. Because, in past it's been like, oh, I totally agree with like that choice of a single, but the other times it's like, I think this one might have worked a little bit better. Obviously, from an outside perspective, we can say whatever the hell we want, but it's your decision at the end of the day. What goes into choosing singles for you guys? And do you know singles are going to be singles while you're writing them or recording them?
Sometimes I think on this record, I knew Masterpiece would be a single for sure. It was one of those songs where like everything just kept going right and it felt good, and I was like, I feel like this song is just going to be a standout song for like that part of our band. For Werewolf, that song was like, I feel like I knew it was going to be a single because I wasn't going to let it not be a single.
Yeah.
Like I when working on the song, I was like, I want to do something so different and so cool and perhaps iconic for the band that if the label fights us on this, like they're gonna lose, and they thankfully were behind it as well. So with Sign of Life, that's more usually when you get into like the third single or even the second single, sometimes you're very much leaning on the fan input, and you say, okay, well, what songs are on the record presently that could be radio singles? Which one has had the best fan reaction and the best, feel like you want your fans behind it as well. And Sign of Life has always been the one. Like, it's that or Porcelain, and Sign of Life just, I think, has a little bit more that I've recognized over the year that it's been out that says, like, that's the one. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I like getting the fans involved on that, too, because you're right. I mean, obviously, you can't please everybody. There's always going to be some people like, why wasn't it picked this or why wasn't it this? But letting them kind of speak for, what they dig and, what you can release to help them dig it even more, maybe listening to it a little bit more. It's so cool that you're so involved with that.
We learned that a lot when we did Graveyard Shift, and Voices was the third single, and it ended up, in my opinion, being the biggest song on the record. The first single, I can't even
it's one of the most iconic in the set list too, in the live show.
Yeah, I think that was our first record with Roadrunner, and it was a big battle over like what we wanted versus what they thought was the direction the band should go in. And like, we were like, okay, this label's been doing this shit. Sorry, they've been doing this for.
It's internet. We can edit it out.
All right, cool. They've been doing this for a really long time and with great success. And I mean, let's take a shot at listening to them and hope that it works out. And here we are. And it's good to have that information. And your failures are just as important as your successes, and learning from your mistakes to go forward in a much better way. And I'm fine with it, but I think fans were like voices. So we did it. We did a video that we felt like we really like nailed what the song was trying to say, and it ended up being the biggest song on the record, and now top 5 biggest Motionless songs. So that was all the fans.
Heck yeah, all the fans, and the fans are gathered here tonight to party with you. Milwaukee is always a hopping spot. How many times have you played this room now? Or this is your first headliner in the Eagles, right?
Yeah, so we actually learned today that we've played the rave
building.
We played the building 13 times since 2010.
Yeah.
This is our first true headliner in the upstairs. We've done it now with support to In This Moment, and then on Trinity, and that was, I think we opened of the 3 bands we played first that night. So this is really our first headliner up there, our first full production. Like it's awesome. It's a big moment for us.
Yeah, congratulations. It's a big feat to get to the top room. What can we expect production wise from the live show tonight, and maybe going forward, because this is coming out, you guys are only a couple days into tour, so what can people expect?
Literally everything.
Yes.
The only thing we can't do today is pyro or sparks and stuff like that.
Man,
it's
shut you down.
It's a historic landmark building, so they have
really
crazy strict laws. And
did not know that.
Yeah, they are not even like they just laughed us out of the building with the pyro. So yeah, no pyro, but we do have all the video wall. We have the cherry bombs out on tour doing like all the different choreography. We added a song to our set list today, so we're doing 18 songs today.
Wow.
Yeah, like full-blown big-time headliner.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I think everyone else is pumped as well. Real quick before I let you go, this is a question that I've been asking most artists, because we're in a very different age of music and music consumption. As somebody who's been in the game, you said Motionless, been in the game for almost 20 years now, who have gone through the roller coaster and the ebbs and flows that the industry does, and the way that bands are coming up on social media now and releasing stuff on social media, where do you think things could go wrong for up and coming bands coming up on social media, and where do you think that there are some benefits that you guys didn't have starting out?
I think just solely relying on social media is where you're going to go wrong. Like, you need to get out there and you need to tour. Like, I know maybe not as much anymore, like you can get your music out there without touring through all the social media stuff, but like at the end of all that, people want to see your band. So like, I feel like you got to go out there and prove yourself, and I don't know if that's ever going to change, but that's my belief, is like, you could have a song pop off on TikTok all you want, but like if you're not willing to put the work that it takes to tour, which is a lot of work, I suppose maybe even if you're people who are like doing it at the top of the top, like Taylor Swift, that's such an insane amount of work for her to pull off a tour like that. And I think people just look at it and be like, oh, she's loaded, she has everything taken care of, and that's true. But at the end of the day, it's still a big job, and it's physically demanding, mentally, emotionally demanding to do a tour. And you really got to get out there and do that and prove yourself, and not rely on just the internet to do everything for you. And then obviously, in the flip side, all the ways of using social media to get your music out there is great.
Yeah.
I mean, we ourselves do it. We like to try to be funny with the TikTok videos, and like
they're all awesome.
Yeah, use our songs in ways that aren't just like, here's the song. Like I try to do some funny stuff with it that just makes people laugh, or like creative something that just isn't, here's the song. Sometimes you have to, but
yeah.
So there's plenty of fun ways to incorporate social media as like the most crucial tool for getting it out there, but you got to be willing to step outside your phone and go out there and do it for real.
Step outside your phone, put the work in, get your music heard. I think that's pretty sound advice. Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking some time to chat today, and go ahead and finish getting ready to blow Milwaukee's fucking minds tonight. It's going to be awesome.
I can't say it better than that. Let's go.
Let's do it.